always remind yourself that the good shepherd is going to lead you to green pastures or greener pastures, right? He's going to lead you to quiet waters. So if God is going to lead you to green pastures and quiet waters, that means where you're coming from is the opposite. And when you look at the world today, you know that we are not in green pastures. It's the GIIC, God is in Control section of this channel. I go over this book by Charles Stanley, God is in Control, an unshakable peace in the midst of life's storms. And today I'm continuing from page 37. Last time we were talking about Psalm 27. We talked about the first 4 verses, and now we're going to continue on in the explanation of those verses, basically. Psalm 23 is talking about hardship and pain. We go through suffering and trials in life. Oftentimes we feel hopeless. Oftentimes we feel helpless. And no matter what anybody does for us, we feel absolutely, totally dependent upon God. We truly are dependent upon Him. If the sheep stray away from the shepherd, they usually will end up in dangerous places. But our good shepherd says He's going to take us to green pastures, quiet waters. He assures us He will restore our souls and guide us in the path of righteousness. Instead of going to places where there's no peace, places where there's turmoil, God is saying, He's reminding us that He's going to lead us to green pastures. If you have green pastures, then you don't have any need to go looking for something else, right? If you are comfortable where you are, then you don't need to be looking for something that's not there. Even though as human beings, we are never satisfied. Even in green pastures, you still want to go and look at another person's green pastures. But what God is saying is He's going to take us to green pastures, quiet waters, peaceful, right? He assures us He will restore our souls and guide us in the path of righteousness. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, which means talking about hardship and pain, when we walk through those times, just know that God is with you. You are not alone. There should never be a situation in this life where you feel like you are alone, where you feel like nobody has gone through this problem before, where you feel like nobody can help you, where you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You shouldn't ever be in that type of situation if you are a believer of Christ. I remember when I was in high school, sometimes you feel like the weight of the whole world is on your shoulders. You are dealing with puberty, you are dealing with growing up. They are asking you, what do you want to be in your future? They are asking you, questions about what you want to be, when you're an adult, and you are a little bit anxious, you are nervous. But then as you are growing up and you are adulting in life, you realize that, oh my goodness, why was I so scared of living life? Why was I so nervous about growing up? Why was I so anxious? And even the Bible talks about it. Do not be anxious of tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to take care of itself. But when you are young teenagers, you feel like, oh my goodness, I have to know what's going to happen in the future. But here Psalm 23 is talking about how we should not, even if you are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, you should fear no evil, because you are not alone, because God is with you. And even when you feel in those situations, always remind yourself that the good shepherd is going to lead you to green pastures or greener pastures, right? He's going to lead you to quiet waters. So if God is going to lead you to green pastures and quiet waters, that means where you're coming from is the opposite. And when you look at the world today, you know that we are not in green pastures. When you look at the world we are in today, it's full of storms. And that's what this book is about. Why I actually fell in love with reading this book, God is in Control. I picked up this book from Barnes & Noble's many years ago, and I never read it. And then when COVID hit, I was going through my books, and I was like, wait, how did this get in here? God is in Control. It was like God sent. Like, I couldn't remember purchasing this book. I couldn't remember buying this book, but in the nick of time, it became something that I just needed to read, and to help comfort me that Even when I'm going through times where I'm not sure of what's going to happen, I just remind myself, God is always in control. And I think that's it about the first page. When shepherds lead their sheep, they are supposed to lead the sheep to where there's food, where there's water, where there's peace. They're able to eat, able to graze. They are free of wolves. They don't lead them into the forest. The shepherd don't lead them into the forest where they can be picked out one by one. So that's one thing that this page is reminding me of. Right? Even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, God is there with you. He is going to lead you from those things into a place of green pastures, into a place of quiet waters where you can be peaceful, you can actually rest, you are not scared of what's going to happen because God, the shepherd, has taken care of those things. He has led you to quiet waters and led you to green pastures where you can eat, drink, sleep, relax, knowing that the shepherd has got your back. Right? The next page, page 38, says, "You are with me, for you are with me," right? Is the heart and core of Psalm 23. It is a psalm of comfort. And usually, I think we've read it in the previous pages that, whenever we are encountered with situations, quickly, the psalm that comes into mind is Psalm 23. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul." Right? So Psalm 23 is a psalm of comfort. It's a psalm that reminds you that God is in control. God is in control. You are not in control. God is in control. And when God is in control, like I've always talked about, God can see everything. He sees all the possible steps that you can take. And then He's the one that can guide you through the Holy Spirit to take the right steps so that you can get to an expected place of comfort. So "You are with me" is the heart and core of Psalm 23. It is a psalm of comfort and assurance. Psalm 23 is one that I like, but one that I like even better is Psalm 91. "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Most likely in the future, I'll probably talk about that chapter. So "You are with me." It is a psalm of comfort and assurance, reminding us that we are going to have those experiences of life that are so difficult and painful and hard that the only thing we have is God. There are some situations that no man can even help you, right? You run to this one, they'll be like, even me, I'm looking unto God. You run to this one, they'll be like, even me, I'm looking unto God to help me with my own problem. And I remember someone talking about when we take our problems horizontally, which means to the people around us, you most likely not have the solution that you want. But when you take it vertically, right, relationship between you and God, when you take that problem to God, you most likely have an answer. Those experiences of life that are so difficult and painful and hard, that the only thing we have is God. No matter what experience you're going through, first ask the question, "God, why am I in this valley?" Right? And second, "Lord, what is the goal for me in this trial? How should I respond to this valley experience?" How should I respond? How should I respond? I always tell myself give yourself options when you encounter a problem. Give yourself options when you encounter a situation. Option A, panic. So you can tell yourself, okay, should I panic in this situation? Which most likely is never the answer, because you can panic from now until tomorrow. The problem is still there. And usually when you panic horizontally, you're asking this one for help, asking this one for help. You're drinking, you're using drugs. That's not going to solve the main problem that is still on ground. Right? How should I respond to this valley experience? Number 2, talk to my friends, talk to my parents, talk to my husband, talk to the pastor, talk to a counselor. They might help put a band-aid on the situation, but the main problem is still on ground. Another option that you can give yourself, talk to God. And most likely, number 3 is going to be your best choice. Talk to God. Get connected back to God. Go back to God. Kneel down and pray. Talk to God. Most likely that would be your best answer, right? Yes, your parents brought you into this world, but God is the one that actually knows you from beginning to end. So if you go back to him, most likely he can give you answers. Sometimes he'll give you answers through your dreams. He'll give you answers to different people. Like when 2 or 3 people confirm that same thing, you're like, you know what? This is the way to go. As a human being, as a Christian for that matter, there are times, like I said from the other video, you're not going to be experiencing all good experiences, for a long time. There are times where you're going to experience the bad parts. There are some times where you're going to experience the unpalatable parts. There are some times when you're going to experience the sour parts of life, and unfortunately those are there to remind you that God is still God, right? When you turn to him, he can turn those sour moments into sweet ones. So this I can definitely relate to, because I've been looking for a job for a while now, and this definitely comes to my mind, like, God, why am I in this valley? And second, what is your goal for me in this trial? Right? So depending on the situation that you are in, you can't find a job, you're looking for money for projects, you're looking for assistance somewhere, just ask God, why am I in this valley? And Lord, what is your goal for me in this trial? Because unfortunately, you see on social media how other people are doing it like that, how other people are getting it like that, but you don't know their own experiences. You don't know what experiences have brought them to where they are. So you can't compare yourself with where they are, but you can always focus on your path, your direction. You can focus on your journey with God, because only God knows your journey from the beginning to the end. So if you are in a particular situation, then most likely there's a reason why you are in that situation. So always ask God, and this is always going back to putting God in your situation. God, why am I in this valley? And Lord, what is your goal for me in this trial? Then the next page says, when you weep in the valleys, you don't just cry with your eyes, you weep from the deep, down inside your spirit. In some of your walks in the valley, there is indescribable pain. Everything on the inside gets tested. There seems to be some kind of reaction in your innermost being, the deepest part of your spirit. Only a person who has been through a deep, dark, painful valley understands such pain. Like, I remember when I was in school, I didn't have it easy. I had to study extra hard. I had to fail, make mistakes to finally get some important things when I was in school. So it is someone like that that can actually explain to someone who is in that same situation, who can break down things for other people to make them understand better. If someone is always getting A's and A's and A's and A's, they might not be able to break down information to someone that is on the verge of failing. I feel it's someone that has failed a lot, so let's say it's someone that has gotten the C's and the D's, that have studied extra hard to get the A's, that can explain to someone that's getting C's now how to get the A's. So let's go back to the Bible. Jesus Christ has endured a lot of pain when he was on earth as a human being, right? He endured all those pain, all those lashes, all those lies back when he was on earth. He endured all those so that we don't have to go through that. And that's why he's always saying, come unto me, you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Because he has gone through all those pain. You don't necessarily have to go through that pain all over again. Someone has done all that work, right? So that's why he's always saying, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. So turn to Jesus. He is the one that can help you, right? Next page, which is, he also said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me, and I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall anyone snatch them out of my hand. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and my Father are one. So I remember 2 things here. I remember a sermon many years ago where the pastor said a parent and a child are going to cross the crosswalk, and the child is holding the parent. So the child is holding the parent's hand. And for some reason, as they're walking, they stop in the middle of the street. The child let go of the parent's hand, and that child got hurt. Then you look at another scenario where the parent is the one holding the child. Even if the child lets go, the parent is still holding that child's hand. So as they're walking on the crosswalk, even if they stop, the parent still has the control to hold that child all the way across the road. This is the same exact thing. We should not hold God's hand, because when you hold God's hand, you're likely preventing him from taking charge of situations beyond your control. But when you let God hold your hand, then he can pull you through those hard situations. He can pull you through those difficult situations that you face, right? And then I also remember the story of Job in the Bible. Is one person that believed and have faith in God to the extent that even the devil was like, leave me to him, let me deal with him, and you'll see that he will curse you and he'll die. But Job was someone that allowed God to hold his hand all through. And even when his wife and his kids and all his belongings and possession perished, he still believed that God was in control, right? And all his possessions, he ended up gaining them back more folds. So this much I know, in the valley, no matter how treacherous and painful and difficult, nobody can take your hand out of the hand of the Good Shepherd. If you are the one holding God's hand and you encounter a situation, there might be times where you are scared and you're like, oh my God, and then you let go of God's hand. But when God is the one holding your hand, when you've put your life and everything that you have into God's hand, right? He's literally holding you, holding your finances, holding you physically, holding you spiritually. He's the one holding you academically. He's the one holding you socially. He's the one holding you wholeheartedly. Then God can step in and take care of situations where you feel you are out of control. In the valley, you and I are not holding onto him for dear life. It's the Good Shepherd who takes us by the hand. It doesn't make any difference if we let go. Thank God, he will never let go. So I think I'm going to stop right here. There's a song that keeps coming into my mind. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I'm going to stop right here, you guys. We are on this earth for an average of 75 to 80 years. And I'm sure it's probably, I'm not sure if it's declining or increasing, but I think 75 to 80 years is the average of lifespan right now. Use your time wisely, use it positively, use it to inspire others. And like I always say in my videos, let's love our neighbors as ourselves, and remember to rest in peace. We all need to be living in peace. Stay blessed. You see me in my next one. You see me in my next one. See me in my next one. You see me in my next one. Bye.